Let's have a brief chat to Stephen Kinnock, Labour MP for Aberfan, who joins us from Central Lobby now. Very good afternoon to you, Stephen.
Hello, Evan. Hi.
Right, is this going to work, this indicative votes thing? Have you all behind it? Have you all thought about how the procedure is going to work? Because it seems like you're making it up at the moment.
Well, we are, of course, painted into a corner by the Prime Minister, who's run down the clock and in a disgraceful way. So we are. It does feel a little bit like we're trying to fix the car whilst the car is driving around the racing track, and we're trying our best. I hope that people will bear with us. It is, and it's an innovation, but we are very clear that people have to be ready to vote for what they can live with. You know, the time of just saying this is my favourite option and nothing else will fly. That's not going to work, because we've got to be able to assess where people are in terms of what they can accept, and then see the compromise that emerges. Because we've got to accept that there are trade-offs, pros and cons with all of these options, and it's time for British politics to rediscover the lost art of compromise.
Right. So you've been a Norway person, I think, haven't you? Norway Plus.
Yes.
Which ones are you going to say yes to, on the ballot paper, do you think, on tomorrow?
Well, I think the Labour's frontbench amendment is compelling, because it talks about single market alignment and having a form of customs union. What the Common Market 2.0 plan that we're putting forward, in essence, puts flesh on the bones of that. So those are the two options that I see being the most interesting. But I have to say, I need to review.
Those are both Norway, aren't they? Or are they? Or the Labour one is a bit less than Norway?
I'm clear that we need to have a Brexit that respects the will of the people, which respects the result of the 2016 referendum, and enables us to leave the European Union, but without wrecking the jobs and livelihoods of the people we were elected to represent.
I'm sorry, I'm just puzzled as to whether you're really saying you'll be compromising tomorrow by voting for any option that's as long as it's Norway, or whether you think you're voting for one that isn't Norway. Because if you don't vote for one that isn't Norway, it's pointless, really, isn't it? I mean, you're just voting for your first preference and not compromising at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's no compromise for me on no deal. I'm assuming there'll be a no deal motion. I have to say, I haven't actually seen the full order paper yet. I would not vote for a no deal option under any circumstances.
Would you vote for a pure customs union, but without single market membership, or even Labour's plan for close association with the single market?
I would certainly look at that. My one concern about the customs union only is it does nothing for workers' rights, because, of course, single market is workers' rights. Customs union there's no sort of standards or harmonisation.
I'm actually not interested in the substantive argument. I'm just trying to work out whether you're going into this with a view that, look, I better put my yes against three of these, so that we're in the domain of finding common denominators, or whether you're just going to really go in there like we expect a lot will, and just put a yes next to the one option that they want and not countenance anything else.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a false premise, though, because the substance of the motion is important. I'm not going to just vote for something if I don't agree with the substance. What I would need to see on customs union is how does it link into the single market to ensure that we have protection of how it plugs into shared institutions. The thing that I think sets our proposal apart from the others, Evan, is it exists. It's an off-the-shelf model that you plug into. It is not a unicorn.
Stephen, I understand that, but you're going back into just making a case for your first preference. This whole process has to be about exploring people's willingness to compromise and where the majority is when people have compromised. Yeah, and you're waiting for Monday to do that. It sounds like to me you're waiting till Monday before you worry about that.
I am waiting to see the order paper. What I'm saying to you is my mindset is to be ready to compromise and to vote for something that I see that I can clearly believe in. I've told you already two proposals I will definitely be voting for, and I haven't seen the wording of the customs union motion yet, but it certainly sounds very attractive, and I'll look at it very closely.
Okay, just one other one. If this all doesn't work, either comes up with four things that have a majority and Parliament find it difficult to choose between them, or nothing that has a majority, what is your vision of the default then? Do you think you basically all have to say, okay, we vote with Theresa May, the deal wins, or it goes back to the people in a public vote, or where do you think it goes if this fails?
So I think that Parliament has to come up with a plan B, because Theresa May's deal has been repeatedly rejected. We need to develop that plan B either tomorrow. I would very much like to see a clear winner emerging tomorrow. If that doesn't happen, we have a second crack of the whip on Monday. Once we've established a Leave option, then I think the people campaigning for people's vote should be absolutely in their rights to table a motion saying, let's put that to the people, because you can't have Remain versus Remain on the ballot paper in a second referendum. There has to be a Leave option. Let's find that option, the plan B, tomorrow, or if necessary on Monday. My preference would be for us to be locked in here until the small hours of Thursday morning, voting until we find a majority, but I'm not sure whether that's going to be the business of the House motion that will actually pass.
I think you've got the half hour at 7 o'clock to fill out your
Yeah,
forms.
I think that's a pity. I think that's not long enough.
Stephen Kinnock, good to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Evan. Thanks a lot.